Hi, we're going to do some whiteboard practice on 3.5 simplifying radicals. So what we're going to do is just like we would do in class. I'm going to give you a problem and you're going to give it a try, pause the video while you give it a try, and then unpause it, and I will explain to you the answer. And if you got it right, then you can just move on, and I will also explain it so you can watch that part if you had trouble and need some explanation. So simplifying radicals. Okay, so here's our first one. It's going to be the square root of 125n. So pause it, simplify it, and come back for your answer. Okay, your answer for that one should be 5 square root of 5n. And if you got it, you can go ahead and fast forward to the next problem. And if you didn't, here's how I got it. So I separated 125 into the square root of 25 and the square root of 5, because 5 times 25 is 125, and then the square root of n. And then this can be simplified further. The square root of 25 is 5, so 5 times the square root of 5n. Okay, let's try the next one. The next one is square root of x to the 5th. The answer for this one is x squared square root of x. And the way I got that was I can separate this into x squared times x. All of those add up to 5, and then the square root of x squared is just x times square root of x squared is x times square root of x. I can't take that one out because it's not a square. So then x times x is x squared square root of x. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Number 3 is the square root of 80p to the 3rd. So pause that and give it a try. The answer on this one is going to be 4p square root of 5p. And the reason for that is this can be separated into 16 times 5 and p squared times p. So the square root of 16 is 4, and then the square root of 5. The square root of p squared is p, and then the square root of p has to stay in there, so it's 4p square root of 5p, like that. Okay, let's try another one. Number 4 is the square root of 64 m to the 3rd n to the 3rd. Pause it and give it a try. Your answer is 8mn square root of mn, like that. And the reasoning behind that is the square root of 64 is 8. And then with our m's, we're going to separate them into m squared and m. And then our n, I'm going to separate that into n squared times n. I'll take out the m squared, and that's m. I'll take out the n squared, and that's n. And then the m and the n that are not squared have to remain in the square root because they don't have anything else that can help them get out of there that makes them a perfect square. Okay, let's try another one over here. So here's number 5, square root of 75 x squared y. The answer to this one should be 5x square root of 3y. And the reasoning behind that is 75 can be separated into 25 times 3, x squared, and then y. This can be taken out as it's a perfect square. Square root of 25 is 5. This can be taken out. Square root of x squared is x. And then the 3 and y have to stay where they are because they're not perfect squares. Okay, another one. 6 is going to be 6 square root of 72 x squared. The answer to this one is going to be, let's see, 36x square root of 2. And the reason behind that is that 72 can be divided into 36 times 2, and then x squared. And so we have 6 out here. Square root of 36 is 6, so we can take that out. We can take the x squared out, and that becomes x, and then the square root of 2 stays in there. So 6 times 6 is 36x square root of 2. All right, let's try just a couple more. 7 is -2 square root of 8 p squared q to the third r. Give that one a try. Your answer to this one should be -4 p q square root of 2 q r, like that. So we have -2, and then the 8 separates into 4 and 2, p squared. The q can separate into q squared and q, and then the r is just r. So this is a perfect square, so I'm going to keep my -2 there. 4 can come out, and the square root of 4 is 2. This is also a perfect square, so the square root of p squared is p. Square root of q squared is q, and then everything else is not a perfect square, so it has to stay in there. So 2 and q and r have to stay in, and then we just multiply these. So -2 times 2 is -4, and then p and q and 2qr, like that. All right, let's do one more on the simplifying radicals. So we have 3 square root of 16 x to the 4th, y to the 4th, and then z. Okay, the answer to this one is 12x squared y squared square root of z, because 3 and then 16 x to the 4th, y to the 4th, z. So this is a perfect square. Square root of 16 is 4. Square root of x to the 4th is x squared, and if you wanted to separate that into x squared and think about taking out x and x, that's fine too. Square root of x to the 4th is y to the 4th is y squared, and then z is not a perfect square, so it has to stay in the radical sign, and then 3 times 4 is 12 x squared y squared square root of z. Okay, hopefully that helped you get some more practice on simplifying radicals. If there are some things that you're not sure how to do or a problem that you're still not understanding, please mark it down so we can discuss it in class next time.